everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 8 and compare it against the iPhone 8 Plus and see which specific phone is a better one for you. Now, to be honest, I don't really think you should be buying either one of these devices, but they're both fairly solid, okay? They're still supported with software, I guess, but I really don't think you should be buying either one of these. Get an iPhone 11 or iPhone 12, and those will be all linked down in the description. So get them from there, and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off side by side, both of these phones are very, very different than one another. The iPhone 8, which came out in 2017, basically was a very good looking phone. I liked this phone at the time, but clearly it was very outdated. You had a 4.7-inch Retina IPS panel on it, and there really wasn't anything super crazy going on with this device that we already didn't have before. So with a device like this, we were getting a bezel at the top, a bezel at the bottom, nothing super insane, Touch ID on here as well. But it was a pretty basic looking display. It was a pretty basic looking phone, and I wasn't really the biggest. I mean, it's like a good looking phone, whatever. But like when it comes to these two, they're both very similar in that sense. A lot of bezel, kind of outdated design. With the iPhone 8 Plus, you are getting a bigger 5.5-inch Retina IPS panel. Now, I like these panels. 1080p. They're not OLED panels, so both of these kind of are not the greatest in that sense. But they both have bezels. Top bezel, bottom bezel, Touch ID right here. Again, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it was one of those things that when these phones first came out, again, there was never been a phone that's been this outdated so fast than when these phones came out, and then the iPhone 10 came out right after it, because it made no sense to even buy these iPhones because the iPhone 10 was so much better looking. That was the way Apple approached their iPhones for the future. So take that as you will, but that's kind of how both these phones kind of compare, at least on the front. In terms of thinness and thickness, you can kind of see that not only is the iPhone 8 Plus so much of a bigger phone, but in terms of thinness, it's always been interesting. Both these phones are honestly around the same thinness. There's not that big of a, I would say there's not that big of a difference between these two. They both are very similar in that sense, but clearly the size difference is massive. You can just see how much longer the iPhone 8 Plus is than the iPhone 8, and that's pretty much in every area. We're getting lightning ports at the bottom of both these. On the back, you're getting very cracked backs on both these devices. So that's always been something that kind of stood out to me with the iPhone 8 and with the iPhone 8 Plus. You are getting very good looking devices. Unfortunately for these ones, these both are cracked, so they're not really that good looking anymore. You're getting a dual camera setup here. The iPhone 8 was getting a single camera setup, wireless charging on both, IP certification on both, and that was pretty much it. Like I said, during that moment, if you kind of think about the iPhones nowadays, there hasn't really been that much improvement in terms of the wireless charging aspect. We still don't have reverse wireless charging or anything like that, but we do have things like the MagSafe capability on our newer iPhones. So both of these iPhones are pretty much missing out in that sense. So not the biggest deal in the world, but it is just kind of one of those things to keep in mind. Now, in terms of software and longevity, this has also been one area where I've looked at a phone like the iPhone 8, and with both of these devices, just last year, these devices were pretty much third in place to get drop support. Now these iPhones quickly jumped to first in place within 1 year. It's insane how things like that can go. So just last year, we had the iPhone 6s, iPhone 7 in front of this iPhone, then it was the iPhone 8. Now it's just the iPhone 8 hanging on by a thread. So we're going to see what happens. I hope this iPhone lasts for a very long amount of time. I don't know if it's going to happen. I hope it does, but I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what happens there. So now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these devices. The iPhone 8 has that Apple A11 Bionic chip inside of it with 2 gigabytes of RAM, where the iPhone 8 Plus has that Apple A11 Bionic chip inside of it as well, with 3 gigabytes of RAM. So let's see if that extra gigabyte of RAM actually does anything. Now let's go and see. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cleared out in the background, so let us get into it. Okay, all the apps are here. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's do phone calls. 3, 2, 1. Okay, kind of answers that one. Music. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's go and how about it here. Let's go and do App Store. 3, 2, 1. iPhone 8 Plus was way faster there. Scrolling through, let's see if there's a big difference. I don't really think there's going to be, but the iPhone 8 Plus loaded that one up super fast. And then the iPhone 8 loaded up the bottom panel a little bit faster. So kind of weird how that stuff kind of works out. Let's go and hop out of here. So we'll get into Mail. 3, 2, 1. iPhone 8 Plus was faster, but a tiny bit slower. Clock. 3, 2, 1. Okay, kind of similar stuff. Let's go and hop out of here. Photos. 3, 2, 1. Okay, not that big of a deal. Hopping out of here. Let's do camera. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Let's take a photo. 3, 2, 1. I think the iPhone 8 was definitely slower there. Let's go and open up that photo. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, definitely just from that right there, just within the camera, it's insane how much faster the iPhone 8 Plus was over the iPhone 8. Typically, we don't really see that stuff, but that's very interesting. We saw that big of a difference literally just right there. How about TV? 3, 2, 1. Totally messed that one up too, so this is not even a good one. Let's just hop out of this one. Let's go and do some of these other ones. Genshin Impact. 3, 2, 1. Now, Genshin Impact is a massive game. It's, going to take its own time to even get into the game after loading it, but we'll just get into the loading panels since they're both going to be probably having to download a bunch of stuff anyway. Kind of looks like to me the iPhone 8 Plus, yeah. So the 8 Plus was faster there. The iPhone 8, tiny bit slower. Again, not the biggest deal, but hopping out of here. Let's go and try Call of Duty Mobile. 3, 2, 1. Now we'll also just get into the main panel. I'm hoping there's no big issues or like big panels, things that come up. We're gonna have to wait and see, I guess. So this one is already getting past that panel, so this one's probably already faster. This one definitely taking its time. So you can see there's big differences here with the iPhone 8 Plus being the faster phone in every single way. Snake first blocks, 3, 2, 1. Okay, iPhone 8 Plus was faster. iPhone 8 tiny bit slower. Let's go and try stack. 3, 2, 1. Okay, iPhone 8 Plus was faster. iPhone 8 slightly slower. Again, hopping out of here. Okay, let's go and do Twitter. 3, 2, 1. And yeah, Twitter faster on the iPhone 8 Plus. So I think overall, there may have been like a time or two where the iPhone 8 was faster, but a majority of the time, the iPhone 8 Plus was the faster device. And that's a very, very crazy thing to think about. So in terms of that, it kind of covers it up there. Now, in terms of the cameras, this was another interesting aspect between these two phones because they came out and they honestly had fairly different cameras. The iPhone 8 had that single 12 megapixel camera. The iPhone 8 Plus had a dual 12 megapixel camera with a wide and a telephoto lens, which was pretty nice. So we were getting wireless charging on both these devices, which was pretty cool. IP certification, which I just mentioned earlier on. I don't know why I randomly brought that up. But you were getting 4K 60 on the back. You were getting 1080p on the front of both these. So same filming resolutions you can film in and everything like that. Now, I don't want to look at the cracked back anymore. So with these two phones, I will tell you, I mean, the camera quality is probably more similar than not. But I did like a lot how you were getting that telephoto lens on the iPhone 8 Plus. That kind of stuff is really cool. And that kind of future-proofs your phone a little bit further. With an iPhone 8, although, it's still supported, whatever, like it still kind of is there, it's already kind of outdated because of its camera. Like, that's honestly how I feel. So, the iPhone 8, I mean, you're still getting like square mode and panorama mode or whatever, but you're not even getting portrait mode on this phone, which is pretty insane. With the iPhone 8 Plus, on the other hand, I feel like this is a better performing camera, although this one's not even like, that good in this day and age. It's still nice that you have a solid camera that you can do 10x zoom, 1x zoom on the outside, slow mode, video mode, portrait mode. You have a lot of stuff here, but definitely when I look at the iPhone SE, or when I look at the iPhone 8, definitely it's a better camera here, but it's not like a good camera in this day and age, if that makes sense. So to kind of sum up this video, what I'll definitely tell you is I definitely do look at a phone like the iPhone 8 Plus. I'm very happy with the way Apple approached it. I think it's a solid device. I think it has a ton of capability and a ton of power. I don't really know if it's like the first phone I would recommend people to buy anymore, but it's still a good phone, and I really like this phone a lot. The iPhone 8 is very similar in that way, where it's like a good phone when it first came out, but it's quickly got old and it's really not worth buying anymore. But like I said, the 8 Plus is the better one here, but I would recommend buying something like an iPhone 11 Pro, an iPhone 11. One of those iPhones are probably going to do you a much better job than getting either one of these. So that kind of covers it up there as well. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, Soldier.